Everyone. So this session is gonna be slightly improvised. I tried to connect to my other computer, but I couldn't. Everything prevents me from reading my notes that I wrote, so it's gonna be mostly based on my feelings about the book that I read about, which is called The Zen of Creativity, Cultivating Your Artistic Life. And the idea of this book is it's based on the life of a Zen monk who wasn't supposed to become a Zen monk. He was just a photographer. And he was very interested in art, not so much in spirituality, but just happened to find a person who inspired him to go to a retreat where he could experience firsthand how is it to truly be creative, not just from seeing things not just from one particular side, but from every side, and connect all these experiences into one huge experience that is more grounded in spirituality than material world. So once he saw a letter, and in that letter it was written that you can just go and join this retreat for photographers. He said he didn't have any money to do that, but his friend insisted because he was very passionate about this particular person and his works. And so he decided to go. And so that's how his journey began. And what happened, the first thing that happened is that he was instructed to go into a field and find his inspiration and connect to some kind of object or anything, any living creature or anything that he could feel the deep pull towards or connection with. And the instruction sounded like, don't photograph your personality. Try to go deep into the core of your being. Photograph who you really are. And so he went, and at first he didn't know what to do with these words, but they kept playing in his mind. And eventually one person who was a dancer and who also inspired him and was a teacher, was a student of his teacher in photography. He came and he just said, do you hear something? You need to go and check. He went to check what was going on in that forest where they were. And he found his inspiration right there. I was looking at the ground, navigating over big roots with the heavy camera on my shoulder. I looked up and saw a tree standing a few feet away and off to my right, which riveted my attention. It was an ancient hardwood with a gnarled trunk. Something about the way the light spilled over it drew me nearer. I approached it, bowed, set up my camera, and sat down on the ground next to the tripod, waiting for my presence to be acknowledged. I sat as still and quietly as I could, with my hand on the shutter release briefly. I wondered how I was supposed to know when to make the exposure. That's the last thing I remember. So this was the picture he made that day. So I think creativity, first of all, emerges from our intuition. One way that our spiritual power begins to manifest is through the emergence of the intuitive aspect of our consciousness. This is one of the reasons why Zen and creativity are so intimately linked. Creativity is also an expression of our intuitive aspect. Getting in touch with our intuition helps us to enter the flow of life, of a universe that is in a constant state of becoming. When we tap into our intuition, whether in our art or simply in the day-to-day activities of our lives, we feel a part of this creative continuum. So in Zen, it's considered that samadhi, or the highest state, is not the end goal. The end goal is actually something that is called working samadhi. And what it means that after you get into that state, which a lot of spiritual aspirants strive towards, you bring that state into your everyday life. You connect with that part of yourself or that state, and it becomes your kind of permanent state. When absolute samadhi appears in our sitting, before long it spills over into the rest of our lives, into everything we do. It's a way of being. All our senses become open, alert, free of tension, and receptive, but without clinging. An example would be a deer moving through the woods. At the crack of a twig, freeze in its tracks, filling its whole body with awareness. Its ears will twitch slightly, listening for sounds. Its eyes will trace the contour of the forest, looking for movement. Its nose will sample the air, scanning for scents. Then, if danger is confirmed, it will immediately expose into action to get away. So this is a comparison. So what is the self? That is expressed in self-expression, which is very closely connected to creativity. And then answer would be that when the self disappears, the brush paints by itself, the dance dances itself, the poem writes itself. There is no longer a gap between artist, subject, audience, and life. And it's actually a result of a personal training, spiritual development, and insight, which then manifests itself through artistic expression. In Zen, this personal training begins with Zazen. And what remains when the self is forgotten? Everything. Nothing is missing except the barrier between you and everything else. You realize yourself as the whole phenomenal universe. One of the most important aspects when you try to connect to your creativity through spirituality is to experience things as a whole. Everything should be experienced from every angle possible, and all these angles should be connected into one picture. So from the Buddhist perspective, the self is an idea. It can be compared to walls or ceiling, door, or windows. They are all aggregates that describe a room. In the same way, our body, mind are only the aggregates, and there is the essence, and the essence is the only thing that is important. While the self, which is our body, mind, it's in constant shifts and movements. It's never stable. Coming back to the idea of seeing with the whole body and mind, we need to merge the seer and the seen. Especially, there is an example from the book that when you go to photograph your object, you're trying to connect with this object on a very intimate level. You need to become kind of the same thing with this object. You need to understand this object, and you need to feel that this object is acknowledging your presence or acknowledging the fact that you are taking picture of it. It is in the ordinariness of our lives that this intimate experience of the self merging with the absolute can begin to express itself. It comes back to the idea of Zen masters, that of samadhi in action, or working samadhi. Like this one, there are painters who transform the sun into a yellow spot, but there are others who, thanks to their art and intelligence, transform a yellow spot into the sun. So sometimes it happens that photographers, for example, just capture one part of the image. But in fact, to experience the moment that they want to capture, they need to take into account every little thing. For example, when you're gazing at the sunset, you can clearly see the dazzling colors and shapes of clouds draped over the distant mountains. Yet at the same time, we also feel the warm evening breeze touching our bodies. We smell the dampness of the mountain pines. We hear the sound of the wood brush. We feel the cool earth under our feet. All of these sensory experiences contribute to our experience of the sunset. To contemplate is to use our ability to see directly, intimately, and to express through the creative process and your life what you see, not what you think you see, but what you actually what actually is. Go out without any preconceived notions about what you are looking for. Allow the subject to find you. Tune into your feelings and let the quality of resonance guide you. When your subject has found you, sit with it and wait for your presence to be acknowledged. Continue to sit with the subject and allow it to reveal itself to you. There are several steps in the creative process. And it's very important to just know them for the time when we decide to go and create something. The first thing is muse. It's a sense of inspiration that initiates the process of creation. The second is the hara, a place within us that is still and grounded. Then there is chi, energy contained both in us and in the subject. Out of chi emerges resonance, a feeling of recognition between the artist and subject. Finally, there is the act of expression itself, where the expression is allowed to flow unhindered from the artist to the creation. The artist steps out of the way and lets the art happen by itself. Developing the ability to recognize inspiration when it arises and learning how to nurture it so that it results in artistic expression is very important. If a work of art does not have chi, it is lifeless. If words do not have chi, they are dead words. Chi is elusive. It can be sensed, but it is difficult to define. Ultimately, it must be engaged through intuition, not through our intellect. Chi is the communicative link between artist and subject. During the creative process, our attention is captured by the chi that our subject emits. As we experience that chi, a resonance with that subject begins to develop. Another fact is that when we expect something from the creative process, it is something that indicates potential failure because we forget why we are doing it, which is to become this process, to become one with the process, not to separate ourselves from the process with our frames that we put or walls that we create between ourselves and ourselves, because we are the same thing with the actual thing we're trying to create or express. There are a few more not rules, but guides. Yeah. First is let resonance guide you. Some of the practices that you will be asked to take up in this book or in your creative practice will require that you get in touch with the feeling inside of you and then go out into a landscape to let resonance guide you to your subject. Second is to be patient. On occasion, the author sat for hours with the subject, waiting to release the shutter. As the light changed and his perceptive ability deepened. He watched one transformation after another. The subject kept displaying a long line of its faces, not apparent at the outset. It's very important to keep being patient. The more we're restless, the less it is possible for us to notice anything of value. Third, allow, don't change. It is important to allow this flow in expression without attempting to edit what is happening, without trying to name, judge, analyze, or understand it. The time for editing is later. The time for uninhibited flow of expression is now. Fourth, express gratitude. When the creative process is complete, it is important to find some way of acknowledging what has just occurred. For the author, this means doing a simple bow. Others may find their own way to express gratitude. Expressing gratitude is essential, especially if we need to return to our work and reawaken the bond that was initially created. And it's interesting because we can actually reawaken the bond that was created. Nothing is lost. And the fifth, where the original expression was purely creative, editing is at once creative and critical. By cutting away the extra, we get closer to the essence of what we intended to convey. So editing is also allowed because in this way we just cut away everything that is not essential, and what is left is just the essence of what we wanted to express in the first place. And six, let go. After expressing our appreciation, a very conscious and complete letting go is pivotal. Letting go of the subject, feelings, the process, and what we have created. This provides a fresh space for whatever it is that you are going to do next. I also prepared 2 exercises. And the first one is by Evelyn Underhill. And I would want... Yes.
Madhuvidyā, can you please repeat what are the last five after the fourth one? What is the last few? Yeah, cut away the extras. Let go. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, so I would like you to find any object that you have close to you, something on your table or around you, on which you can focus and put your whole attention towards. It can be a picture, a statue, a plant, anything. Okay. Are you ready? Right. Look at this thing which you have chosen and fully refuse all the messages which countless other aspects of the world are sending. And so concentrate your whole attention on this one act of loving sight. All the other objects are excluded from the conscious field. Do not think, but as it were, Pour out your personality towards it. Let your soul be in your eyes. First, you will perceive about you a strange and deepening quietness, a slowing down of your feverish mental time. Next, you will become aware of a heightened significance, an intensified existence in the thing at which you look. As you, with all your consciousness, lean out toward it, an answering current will meet yours. It seems as though the barrier between its life and your own, between subject and object, had melted away. You are merged with it in an act of true communion. And you know the secret of its being deeply and unforgettably. I hope it was helpful, but I think it could be more helpful if we can try to do it by ourselves and spend more time on it. But I have another creative practice, which is you would have to analyze this picture, but you're not supposed to look at it for too long for now. I'll show you. I'll show it to you when we get to that point. But for now, make yourself comfortable and relax your body completely. Begin by closing your eyes and becoming aware of your face, especially the muscles around your eyes. Become aware of any tension that may be there, and then deliberately and consciously let go of that tension.
Picture isn't showing very well.
Next, relax the muscles of your jaw so it hangs loosely, gently pressing your tongue against the roof of your mouth. Now, move to the muscles on the back of the neck. Be aware of any tension there and let it go. Relax the muscles of the back, the shoulders, and the chest. Become aware of your breathing. Allow yourself to breathe deeply and easily without effort. Imagine each inhalation bringing energy into the body, and each exhalation letting go of tension. If your mind begins to wander, don't fight it. Witness what it's doing, and after a few moments, bring your attention back to your breath. Next, let go of the tension in your stomach. Become aware of the muscles of the arms and let go of any tension that you may be holding. Do the same for the forearms and the muscles in your hands. Feel the muscles of the thighs and the feet, letting go of any tension left in your body. Now, imagine you are sitting next to a small pond. On its surface floats a white swan. It's very still. There is no movement, no wind, no sound. Try to feel that stillness with your whole body. Try to contact that still place within yourself that relates to the pond and the swan. Turn all your awareness to your hara, your still point in your body. Begin drawing energy from all parts of your body to that point, from the top of your head and the tips of your toes and fingers. Focus all the energy of your body into your hara. Feel it building there. Now begin to move that energy upward to the back of your closed eyelids. When you're ready to begin, open your eyes, take a flash look at the image, and close your eyes again. Keep yourself still and quiet. How does it feel? What part of your body is involved in this perception? Try to see the image on the back of your closed eyelids and notice how you feel. Not what you think of it, but how you feel. Fill in areas of the image that are unclear to you. Don't worry about getting it right. Stay connected with your feelings. Now open your eyes and take in the whole image all at once. Get it once again. Try to see each detail move through the whole image. You can close your eyes again. Try to postpone your judgment. If thoughts arise, acknowledge them. Let them go and return to just seeing, just feeling. And now imagine yourself entering the image, becoming part of it. Be aware of how it feels from the inside. Are visceral sensations evoked by the image? Is it smooth, hot, pebbly? Do you feel nervous, excited, relaxed? Just keep seeing and feeling without judging or analyzing. Tune into your body as you move from area to area, noticing how the ground feels beneath your feet. Is it spongy, smooth, hard, wet? Are there any sounds? Smells? Don't try to make sense of what you're feeling. Just let it move through you. Now, choose a particular area of the image to go into. Become it. Notice how you feel being this place. How does the rest of the image look from this position? Do you feel big, small, frightened, confident, wary, or angry? Notice any bodily sensations. How does it feel to move out of being this one area and back into the whole image? What happens if you try to move out and beyond the image? How does the image continue beyond the borders? Do you feel relief, anxiety, fear, joy? Spend some time outside the borders of the image. Then return to the image just as it is, seeing it as a whole. You can take a look at the image before closing your eyes again. You can close your eyes. See the after image on the back of your closed eyelids. Feel in any areas that aren't clear. Notice the sensations you're left with. Try to amplify the feeling and really experience it. Let it go. Draw your energy back down to your hara and away from your eyes. Feel the energy building there until you feel that sense of lightness, warmth, or buoyancy. Then consciously and deliberately let it go. Let go of the feeling, let go of the image. Become aware of yourself, the room, and the sounds. Move your body slightly, and when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Okay. It's time for feedback now. What did you guys experience?
It was difficult for me to focus on the image, and actually in the beginning, but the more I focused on it, the more I kind of relaxed into it, and it seemed like meditation. The first thing, yeah, it reminded me of a person, of a silhouette, and then another person. Some of its parts remained it like this remind me of the wreath, all the laurel diadem around Dante Alighieri's head. But before that, I felt it looked like loon, or what? Not loon, moon, and stars. And then towards it, I feel right now lighter and more relaxed. But it was difficult for me to focus, to keep this image in my mind.
Okay. Thank you.
I actually did have some extra feedback. In my case, the moment you asked me or the group to imagine a swan, I was able to imagine the swan very easily. In fact, I was able to keep most of the picture in my mind easily. The thing is, I couldn't make the swan not move. I couldn't make the water not have ripples. So no matter how hard I tried, everything was consistently moving somewhat. That was weird, but that is expected though. I just know that's how my mind worked. But that is interesting because the image was still, everything else done now. And it felt like a river of ice to me. So I felt a familiarity with it. But that's about it.
Okay. Kashi, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I also wanted to share some thoughts. It in fact was my first time having an experience to look at a picture or art uh, from this out of the box approach. And some of the things that I tried to at least get close to the idea of its accomplishment was to completely eliminate all the ties that my brain has already created, let's say with colors. I tried not to think of what feeling does the color black gives me, or uh, that the shape of some objects that are, some are pointy, some are sharp, some are worn down, some are round. And I just try to see what my soul tells me apart from what my eyes has been seeing and what I've consumed to be the societal norm, or sort of the taught knowledge to myself. And my imagination kept going. It really continued until I opened my eyes and sort of for the end of the practice. But it was really interesting. I never had that sensation before.
I can relate when I did this exercise by myself before. It felt like this as well. Japish?
As I was going deeper into it, I felt it sort of distracted me, took me away. I felt confused as to actually what I was feeling. So I was spent, had a lot of attention on trying to figure out what I was feeling. So I don't know if that distracted me from the intended experience. But it did make me, reflect a little more on what was going on within. And I'm still sort of there now. So yeah, that's my experience.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. It was very interesting for me as well. And I still keep reading this book. I almost finished. There are lots of other interesting thoughts and ideas in there. And I really hope to try and practice more the exercises from it, because they feel very fresh and new for me and inspiring. And I hope I was able to inspire someone to read it as well.
That's a great work, Madhuvidyā. That's very interesting. And yeah, very, very Zen-like, very peaceful. And the painting, I mean, yeah, visual does something to you when you meditate on it. It's called dharana, right? When you keep this object in your mind, like you said in the beginning. I was looking at this postcard by this Russian artist, Boris Grebenshchikov, who is like primarily a musician but also a painter. And it's like a church. And the more I looked in it, the more I actually right. The more I actually became part of it, and I perceived its mood better because it's like soft colors, like peachy, and the snow calmed my mind down. It's a good activity, but it's important to have a proper object of meditation, because whenever I was thinking about the moon and like this dark night, I was getting a little anxious, but also excited and open. Like, I find that's what moon does to me. It makes me kind of enter this obsessive state, like very artistic, but a little bit obsessive, like a werewolf.
Yes.
In the business, this is called being a lunatic.